My name is David Rajuili. I'm the former WBF International Super Featherweight Champion and the former WBF All Africa Lightweight Champion. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Ringside Talk with your host, David Rajuili. Tonight we've got a special guest, one of South Africa's hottest and uprising sons, all the way from Cape Town. The man has had one hell of a journey getting into his boxing. We're going to hear more of that this evening. I'd like to introduce to you a fighter with 10 fights, 1 loss, just fought for the South African featherweight title, Abdul-Aziz Kunert.
Hi, good evening. All right, and you, my brother?
I'm good. Thank you for taking out some time and being on my show tonight, brother.
It's a pleasure. Anything for boxing, my brother. Anything for boxing.
Lovely, brother. Yeah, man, I haven't seen you in a while. I know we were both from Cape Town. I bumped into you a few times. And I think in the beginning of your career. Abdul, my brother, how's about you tell the fans who you are, where you were born, where you come from? Let's start there.
Yeah, as you know, my name is Abdulaziz. I'm born in Cape Town, from Brooklyn. Born and bred all the years, been living here, and I grew up here in Brooklyn.
Okay, nice, brother. And are you in Brooklyn at the moment? Are you in Cape Town?
Yeah, at the moment I'm in Cape Town. I just came back now after my last fight, you know. So I'm back in.
Okay, nice, brother. Brother, how's about you tell us where you grew up, what schools you went to? Tell us more about yourself, where you grew up, who you grew up with, and all of this.
Yeah, so most of my life I've been living here in Brooklyn. There was times we would move out of Brooklyn, but we would come back and still like move and come back and move and come back. But I'm always have been here in Brooklyn. Yeah, growing up, I went to Oysterplaat junior primary, and then I went to primary school, and then from there I went to the Grendel High School.
Okay. That's all there in Cape Town, right?
Yeah.
Okay, nice, brother. And how was it growing up in Cape Town now? You know, for the viewers that don't know, I think Cape Town is one of the most beautiful places in the world in South Africa, and also one of the most dangerous places in the world in South Africa, relating to gang violence and everything. How was that for you growing up in such environments?
You know, as I was growing up, you know, we all go through a phase as boys when you go through that phase being naughty, fighting, and things like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, a part of my life took a turn as I was growing up, getting too much into this kind of lifestyle and partying, you know, being out with friends and smoking, all those kind of things. And when I reached high school, so I dropped out of school, and that's where the real turn took on my life, because then I thought, okay, I have no I have no like proper education, like a qualification in education. So I thought, okay, this is the life that I'm gonna love. There's no proper thing out there for me. So yeah, I started hanging out. We were a lot of friends to say, and we looked up to guys that
all the
they were
guys
like
that
our
you
role models.
obviously,
Yeah, they were like our role models, and they were gangsters to say, like they were Owens. You know how we say it, yeah, yeah. And then we got so involved in this thing, and from there we made a decision. I made a decision and thinking, no, you know, this is the life that I chose, and there's nothing really out there for me. So this is the way I'm gonna live.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, so
And
I've
how
been
old were you? How old was, sorry to cut you, brother. How old were you around this time?
around that time. I was like where got initiated and things like that. I was around about 15, going on 16.
Oh, wow.
When
So when you
yeah,
say initiated means you were beat into the gangs, into
yeah,
uh, wow, yeah. We see these things on TV, and to hear it from someone who's lived it is actually quite mind blowing. Um, so yeah, man. So hearing what you're saying, you spent most of your teenage teenage childhood life growing up in a gang and stuff. Now, having said that, how did being in a gang get you to boxing? How does this all come along now?
yeah. So you know, out of the bed, and they was good about it. So 2012, I've committed the crime,
Yes,
and I was on Paulsmoor prison. So in about close to a month, I was released out on bail, and then I worked like for a year on for this case that I've been, and then I got sentenced to a
okay,
12 years, which 5 years of that 12 years was suspended. So I had a
yes,
7-year term, prison term. So then I was on Paulsmoor, and then I got transferred to Victor Van Stee, which is called Drakenstein today.
yeah. Sorry to cut you there, brother. How old were you when you were in Paulsmoor?
I just turned 18. I just
Just
turned 18. Yeah,
oh, so you went into adulthood.
yeah. I
Now,
just
for
turned
the
18
viewers at
that time.
home that don't know, what those watching around the world, Paulsmoor is, if the guys have watched the top prisons in the world,
Yeah,
Paulsmoor's rated, he's one of the top, I think, top three in the world, one of the most dangerous prisons in the world, actually, with the most highest, baddest criminals in the world.
yeah,
And you went in there at 18, brother. That must have been
yeah.
quite scary. And but carry on your story.
Yeah, but I went there with confidence, but also inside being nervous. But because I was a part of something, so I knew where I was heading and what I had to say and what I had to do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So all was well with me, but and then for the year that I walked outside, and I got prison sentence, and then I went to from Posmo to Drakenstein,
Yes.
and then I seen like the whole facility, and because it's more of like a rehabilitation in
Center.
that in that prison.
Okay.
So
And
I
yes.
was there on the maximum. I was there on for 7 months, and then I was approved to become a medium, and then I seen there was more privileges within the time that I was serving my sentence. And
Okay.
then there was like school, rugby, playing soccer, and all those kind of things. And I remember one day going into the part of how did I get about boxing. So I remember
Yes.
one day there's a guy that comes around, and then he he, he asked us like coming to each cell and asked, hey, do anyone want to do karate or boxing? And I remember
Yes.
I gave my name down for both two activities. But as a
Okay.
young kid, I always loved like karate, Bruce Lee and all those things.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah, so I went for a while out for karate, and then prison system change anytime because of things that are happening and things like it. So karate
Okay.
didn't go out. Yeah, and then eventually boxing started going out, and at that time also I was going school also. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I went to school, and I was attending boxing, and then I would attend the boxing program, and then I was like enjoying the training and things like that, punching the bag. And then I
Yeah.
remembered one day when I went to school, and the guys went out for boxing, and I came early back, and then they came afterwards, and then they were like, "Hey, they was sparring and things like that," and then I was like, "Hey." I'm not gonna go to school tomorrow. I'm gonna go there to training because I wanna also
Yes.
spar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next day we went, and then I remembered the official that was training us that time was something is I'm not familiar with his name, but his surname is Rothman or something like that. He was a former or world kickboxing world champion. And then he set us down in the square ring because there is a facility with bags and the ring and all those things. So we were
Yeah.
privileged. So two guys, they would choose two guys to stand up and do and spar. And then the one that was getting beaten, they would tell that one to sit down. And then I remember they chose me. And then I didn't know the schooling of boxing. I just
Went
started
with it.
hitting, throwing punches. And then I see, hey, this guy, he got some potential. And then
Something.
they let the
Yeah.
guy sit down that I was punching. And then they let the second guy come. And then I did the same thing. The third guy came, the same thing. But the third guy gave me a good shot, and then you get like cross, and then
Dizzy.
just
Yeah.
start, yeah, and then they seen that I had potential, I had heart, and then
Oh.
willing to learn the skill of boxing, and then I had my first tournament about a month after that, and
Yes.
then I
In
won
the
gold,
prison.
yeah,
Oh wow.
in the prison against other
Okay.
prison facilities. And it's not to say that there's guys also from we all have where we come from. There was guys that have boxing experience,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes. And
yeah,
ended up in prison, so they would be in the.
yeah,
Okay.
in the mix, so. And then from there, the boxing bug bit me, and forever and then I knew this sport was for me.
Wow. So even like sometimes you get guys growing up having role models. Like myself, my role model was Brian Mitchell. Growing up watching Brian Mitchell on TV, it sounds like you never had something like this. You were involved, as you said, with the gangs and stuff like this. Found yourself in prison, and being in prison, you found this boxing just came, as an extramural activity. Um that's amazing. So yeah, that was what I was going to ask you. You didn't have anyone to look up to, like any boxer or anything like
You know,
at
we
that
we
time.
at that time, no, not really, but we all knew the Muhammad Ali's
Yes,
and
yes,
those kind
yes,
of guys, and you know, and eventually then I started feeding myself the information about learning about the guys of those times, you know.
yes,
Even at that time when I was still in prison, I never knew about Floyd Mayweather them or Manny
yes,
Pacquiao until
yes,
Manny
yes. Of
Pacquiao
course.
and Floyd Mayweather them fought, and then I was like, okay, then I started following up on the guys of today. And when I was privileged to get released out on parole, and then I started looking at a lot of guys at the skills and all
Yes,
those
yes.
kind of things. Yeah.
And now, did you ever think at that time when you were just doing the classes that this could be your life? This could be something that you make a life out of. You make your bread and butter. It changes your life around. Did you ever think of that, or was it just like a bug of, hey, this is a nice sport. You like to 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 just exercise. You like to hit or anything. How did you see it at that time?
At that time, finding the training like hard and things like that, and I enjoyed it. But where I really found it is when I won that first gold medal.
Yes,
When I won the first gold medal, and yeah,
and that was what the prison championships, you can call it.
yeah, and
Okay,
then
nice.
and then I knew boxing was for me, and then I started dreaming, having goals, whereas I want to become a professional boxer, and
Okay.
you plan also like for the future, seeing yourself being of those kinds of today.
Yes, yes,
You know
yes.
what I mean? And whereas when I was released, coming from prison, I managed to get my professional license, and it was like a goal, a dream come true. And whereas that came through, the dream and
Started to
expands
roll.
to becoming a South
Yes,
African champion,
yes,
international champion, you know. And about 2 weeks ago, I was close to becoming and achieving one of my dreams and goals to becoming a South African champion. But unfortunately, God had other plans, and
yes, that's it.
I won't give up because I know
Yes,
this
that's it,
this
brother.
sport keeps me disciplined, and it keeps me always like my mind is sharp, and it
That's
always
good.
keeps me busy. Yeah.
I wanted to go back to when you came out, how your boxing, how the pro boxing started. Obviously, you won your gold in like the prison championships, and then you went out on parole. Now you coming out on parole, who helped you in terms of sparring? I mean, in terms of getting your pro career on the road, in terms of training, in terms of um, setting your career, your path. Who helped you with that? How did you go about that?
I can say thank you to our previous provincial manager, Mr. Mickey Klaus.
Yes,
You
yes, I
obviously
remember
know Mr.
him.
Mickey,
Yes, yes, yes,
and a guy that we worked together for long. I have a documentary for the time that I've been in prison until the time I've been released. Warren Baines,
yes,
he
yes.
he he at that time helped me to get my license, my professional
Okay.
license. Yeah, and I remember when I was released. I think yes, that was the 30th of May 2017. Days I can't forget, always printed
Yes,
in my mind. And
obviously,
then
yeah.
I remember about a month or two, and then I attended Calacoda's events. It was
Yes.
in Cape Town in CBD, and then I didn't have a coach at that time, so Warren took me there, so we could scout someone like who could train me at that time. And then
Okay.
as at each corner, when the fighters came out, they had their trainers also there in the
Yes.
corner. So as soon as I got close to any one of those trainers, then I would speak to them, and then I would ask their number. So I had like a
Okay.
list, like 10, 15 names at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we got hold to the closest one to us. And don't know if you know Raisin. You know
Uh,
Raisin?
yes, I'm not raising. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So I got close to in contact with Raisin. So he took me to a gym in Woodstock,
Okay.
with the guy that runs the gym, and he's a promoter, is Ellen Chizungu. So
Oh yes, I know it.
so yeah, he's the promoter of Maxim Kids.
Yes.
So I started going there at Maxim Kids. So I remember Ellen said he's more into the amateurs, but also he's working with the professionals. So he had an eye on me, so he said I could attend the gym because it was close to where I'm staying, and then you would see me training and sparring and things like that. So he also seen that I have the potential, and he started promoting me. And then September, I had my first pro fight. Yeah.
Yes. And you getting your first pro fight must have been like a big highlight, from finding boxing behind bars to being out to finally stepping into this into the ring, uh, not behind bars or anything, as a free man, um doing what is now your dream, your passion. That must have been something else.
I'm forever grateful that I found the sport because it always kept me in line. And
Yes,
you know, at that time, stepping in the ring as a debutant at that time, and then I seen a part of everything that I believed in, worked for, it's coming through, and here I am. So I made use of that opportunity when, it's a make or break when you make your,
yes,
your, your debut. And then I did it. And then I was always consistent and always in the gym, always training, always willing to learn. And
yes.
yeah,
And you've had quite a great, actually, you've had quite a great run. 10 fights. Uh, you've had your first loss, as you said, uh, 2 weeks ago. Run us through your 10 fights you've had. What has been your highlights? The best fights you've had in your 10 fights. Ones that you could you say yes. You really enjoyed the fight. And yeah, what's been your highest moment in boxing so far with your 10 fights you've got?
Throughout the build-up of my fights, as more of in the beginning, it was building me up as a professional. You know how it goes.
Yes.
So where, but I knew I was learning every time as I stepped in the ring because I remember my two first fights or three fights. I fought four rounder, and then my fourth fight fought the eighth rounder because
Eight rounder, yeah.
yeah, so I was getting used to the rounds, and I always felt that I could do more
Two more.
than yeah. And
Yes.
then for me, where I felt more of my breakthrough on my career, where I know I'm ready to step up to anyone, is when I fought Fusi Makai in
Yes.
December 2019. Yeah,
Okay.
so everyone was believed that he was going to beat me, and yeah, I was nervous, but I believe in myself. I know I can
Yes.
fight, you know, and whatever anyone has to say, I take that negative and I turn it into positive because
Something
they don't
positive. That's
see
good.
what the efforts that us boxers go through in camps,
Yeah.
running on days, starving, making
Yeah.
weight, all those things. People don't see that. They don't see the sacrifice behind the scenes. They
Yeah.
only see when you're on the lights. You know what I
With the
mean?
lights and
But
it's true.
yeah, I felt when I fought Makai, I knew, okay, I know I'm ready for anyone. As a
Okay.
boxer, we have to believe we're ready for anyone, to fight anyone. And then, yeah, and for that part, that was my part where I stepped up.
Okay. Nice, brother. And run us through now. You had your 9 fights, we say. After 9 fights, you were
That was the 10th one. That was
the
the 10th
10th.
one. I
Yeah.
lost the 11th one.
Oh, there was the
Yeah,
10th one. So
yeah.
after your 10 fights, you were ranked, I think, number one featherweight in South Africa.
Yeah,
Uh,
number two of
number
the Baby
two,
Jake.
yes. Number two
Yeah,
featherweight
so
after Baby Jake. Now, let's talk about you and Baby Jake. That's a fight many people want to see in South Africa. I know Baby Jake is off going to fight in England. I think in the end of the month, at the end of
I think
November, yes,
November, yeah.
for the Commonwealth British title or something. You and him are supposed to scrap out. You see this fight ever happening? I know you both. I've trained with him.
Mm.
He's pretty got some nice fast hands. Uh, Tell us about that fight. It will be a good scrap to see in the future.
After that fight with Makai, me and Baby Jake we fought elimination bouts at that time. So he
Yes,
fought a guy from East London, Apiwe Masangwana, and then I fought
yes,
Makai. So it was me and Baby Jake that was supposedly ending up fighting for the South African title, but there was
I
so much complications
remember.
throughout. Yeah, so much complications throughout the whole situation of the SA title that was on hold, that was keeping even our careers on hold, and then COVID came, you know,
Yes, I remember.
COVID came, and then boxing came back again, and then you want to get straight at it. You want to become a champion, like a South African champion. I know in his goal he wants to also become a South African champion, and we were ready to fight each other. And then there was the guy from Eastern Cape that I now fought about 2 weeks ago, and then
Yes,
there was a whole thing going on, and then I was always put aside. So Baby Jake was scheduled to fight this guy, and then I don't know, something happened with Baby Jake, and then they put up Toto Elebe, and then something also happened with the promotion, and then nothing happened then. So again, we waited, but in the meantime, still training, and then again, that Baby Jake was scheduled to fight this guy from East London, Asanda, and then I was going to fight the winner. So the winner was gonna defend against me. And then eventually, I don't know what happened to Baby Jake, and then he wasn't fighting anymore. So I got first an opportunity, and I don't know if I seen Jackie Price commented on one of my posts, because everyone in Cape Town wants to see
This fight,
me and Baby
yes.
Jake fight. Yeah,
I don't think just
for
in
me, I don't
Cape Town. I
mind, but
think the whole country, the whole South Africa,
yeah.
want to see this fight.
So I have to sit down and speak to my manager, because we're also working on something at the moment because of our last fight.
Yes.
There was they were in that fight. Now, if I can explain about what happened.
Yes, tell us about your SA title fight. This is the fight. So just tell the viewers what date. It was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, the 26th of September
Yes.
in Gauteng.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So eventually, me and Asanda got the date to fight, and we prepared. I prepared well, made lots of sacrifice, left my family behind, going to Joburg, preparing for camp for the fight. So eventually, it came up to the night. The fight was tough. I could say,
I saw that
but there
fight. I
was
saw
also
that fight.
there was a lot of how can I say, from his side, he was fighting dirty, because
Okay.
when we engage, he would headbutt me, or when he's on the tap, when I slip a punch, he would hit me behind my head or
The
something
head.
like that. You know what I mean? So there
So
was a
he
lot
made it
of
a
things
bit.
from his side.
He
So
made it.
even while during the fight, they deducted 2 points from him. So
Okay.
I felt, yes, the fight was close, but also this gives me an advance in the fight. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And then I remember when they deducted the last point, the second point from him. Uh, as I threw a combination, I threw a hook, but I missed. And then he wanted to counter me, and then I threw the second hook, and then I hurt him with that hook, and he jumped on me, and
Yes, I saw
he
that clip.
jumped on me, and he held me on the ropes, and he was keeping like tight. So I thought,
Yes.
this is my time, I'm gonna jump on it, and I'm gonna knock this guy out. And then as the referee broke on it, because I went straight to him, waiting for the ref to say fight, the ref put him in the neutral corner, put me in the neutral corner, and deducted the point from him from holding. Then I was like,
Oh,
so he obviously recovered at that time.
covered. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But I felt like in the beginning rounds it was a back and forth. If you look at round 8, he gave me some trouble there, because as he was throwing a combination, he stepped in and he gave me a headbutt, so I got a cut, and the blood
Yeah.
was running in my eyes, so my vision wasn't
Couldn't
clear.
see.
Yeah, so he was throwing on one, but he wasn't catching me properly, and then there was times he was catching me, but nothing was hurting me. And then from round 9, when Mr. Bernie Payman, because he's a good cutman, good
But yes,
cornerman,
one of
and
the
he
best.
killed my, yeah. So then I could see clearly, and my coach, Colin Nathan, was like, we press him now. And I was
Yes.
pressing him, I was catching him with good punches. I feel like from round 9 and the rounds before that, I felt that I did win the fight. For
Yeah.
me, even if we have to go review of the fight, even the people said when they watched it now, lost on TKO, like, I don't know, they said like this guy Asanda is like he wants to get disqualified because of all the dirty things that he's doing in the fight.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and whereas in the rules meeting, where you have a rules meeting after the
Meeting.
win for the South African
Yes.
title, then they
Yes.
explain about headbutts, deliberate headbutts, and this is stuff that was obvious to the ref's eyes. And this guy's doing it when we get in the clinch, you see him pressing me with his head, but he was just
Nothing's
getting warned
happening.
after that, because if you get taken the third point off and then you get disqualified.
Qualified, yeah. But after this fight, what I'm sure your management team, we're gonna speak about Colin Nathan now. About that, we've just got a message from the viewers watching. As I said, this is broadcast all around the world. So we've got a viewer from the United States asking, "Would you ever want to fight in the USA?" From Mr. Super Joseph J. Cole fan wants to know, would you ever do you wish to fight in the United States?
You know, God willing, I would want to fight anyway. And
Yes.
United States are one of the names on the list because we all know that is the home of boxing around the world, you know.
Yeah. And if who in the featherweight would you like to mix it up from any of the top fighters on top of your head?
You know, to me, so long I'm prepared, I would fight any guy because
Okay, nice.
life now, in short, what we learned through this pandemic is not promised. You
Yes.
want to live up to who you want to be one day. So I would fight anyone. I would fight
Okay.
anyone in.
In the featherweight. Very nice,
Yeah.
brother. Very nice. And yeah, uh, talking about your management team, I know as you said, you moved from from Cape Town. You are now based in Johannesburg with your training, and one of the biggest managers in South Africa, Colin Nathan. He runs MTK Africa as well. Uh, how's it been under such a big stable? Because you got your stable mates, uh, Hickey Butler, Dlamini, you got some world
Larato, yeah.
champions there, you got WBC silver champions training with you, you got IBF champions training with you. How has it been under that stable, under Colin Nathan, the stable, his management side, and training in Johannesburg?
You know, being there as it's put a massive effect on my career as a professional athlete and as a boxer because in the sports you learn every day. You learn every day, especially those guys that's been there at world level that is also on that verge of being world champions. You learn a lot out of them, and you learn also like from my coach, Colin Nathan, being under his management also. I learn a lot from him. He's been around, you know, like I'm always interested in hearing his stories because
Yes,
I think he told me since the age of 12 he's been in the corner with his father
of,
helping
yes,
out, you know. So that comes with a lot of experience and I know he has a good eye technical wise. He's very good, very serious about what he do when he comes about his work and about his fighters.
yes,
So you know, it's really good to be in an environment like that because you want to be surrounded by success. You want to be surrounded by people that have that verge and urge to becoming world champion and that are world champions.
yes,
They're gonna place that also into you as an upcoming fighter. You know what I mean? So
yes.
also learning within the sparring and things like that. There's there's so much I've learned there and I'm still learning. So long I'm loving, I'm learning.
No, that's amazing, brother. I think even for you, for your story, from if we start in the beginning, coming from Cape Town, being with the gangs, being in prison, to like if the viewers don't know, you are training with Colin Nathan. That is, yeah, South Africa's top trainers. Me as a fighter also know not all fighters get to actually fight or get managed by Colin Nathan. Only a selected few, and they even say it's the selected golden few in South
Yeah.
Africa that get to fight under that banner. So yeah, that must be actually very great for you. Knowing where you've come from. Seeing where you are and I'm sure it just it opens your mind, your dreams, just to bigger fights. That's what my next question is going to be. Is when you see yourself now, you know you are ranked number 64 in the world rankings. That's also congratulations on that. Um,
Thanks.
it's a great achievement. You know, being ranked in the top 80 in the world. There's a lot of boxers up there, and where where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What kind of titles would you see want to see yourself mix get involved in? So far, you fought for your first title, the SA title. You didn't get it. I'm sure you'll definitely be getting it in the near future. Tell us more
Yeah.
about the future and where you see yourself in the next 5 years.
Yeah, so in the near future, like I always said that my dream and goal is to become a South African champion, and I felt that I was robbed of it, of my last fight. You know what I mean? Whereas because if I can just go on back and that the one judge had me winning by three rounds. One judge had him winning by 2 rounds, and then another judge had it as a draw.
Mm.
So the fight was supposed to be contested as a draw, but
The
in a
draw.
vacant title, in a vacant title, there has to be a winner. So they gave him the extra point, but I couldn't understand how could you give a guy if you can see my boxing compared to his, he was
He's
headbutting me and all those things and
and
that.
he got
But
points taken away. You said so,
yeah, you
right?
know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the two judges are from where he is. You know what I mean.
Yes. Yes.
So
Home.
I don't know how that role,
One.
you know how that role plays in the boxing
Yes.
industry. So, but not to talk much about it, but I'm hoping, God willing, we get a rematch as soon as possible. And if not, if it doesn't go that way, then I will keep going forward and looking to becoming a world champion, you know, because seeing that I'm that close, I know in 5 years' time, I can tell myself, I see myself as a world champion or unified champion. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Nice.
Or a multiple division champion going up in the weights. But through my management, Colin Nathan, he's gonna guide me properly. But I see myself already as that. But in the process, you have to have the proper guidance from your management
Yes.
and coach.
That's that's very true, brother. That's very true. And I do a lot of research, and I always watch you guys, and keep up with the guys in South Africa. I see. Tell me, I see you're very a man of faith. Um, you believe a lot. You in your faith. Tell me a lot about not a lot. Tell me a bit about that, brother. Your faith and how your faith carries you through the hard times. How it carried you through then and now and in your future.
You know, that's one thing that really keeps me also going is because I believe I'm not perfect. That's one thing. Don't think because I spread the word of good that I'm perfect and things like that. But faith plays a big role, a part of my life because if I didn't believe, I wouldn't be right here where I am today. You know what I mean? and
Very
and a
nice,
part of
brother.
me growing up throughout loving the time with my grandparents and things like that was already implemented in me as a young kid. So even the way I went astray, a part of me still believe that one day maybe something will happen. And you know, like today still I still have a lot of faith in the future wherever I'm going, I have to have a good outlook, a positive thought, even maybe the result is not what I expected,
You
you know
planned
what
it.
I mean? And
Oh, that's
and I'm
good.
forever humble, you know. I haven't spoken about it throughout the interview, but the time when I was in prison, um, a lot of my friends, like a lot of people that I knew got killed, you know, throughout this lifestyle. And a, one of those that were really dear and close to me was my brother. He got shot
Yes.
2015. Yeah, my brother got shot. Something that I couldn't believe at that time because I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
I wasn't there. I couldn't attend the funeral and things like that. And you know, many doubts came to my mind and all those things, but still had faith. And a part of everything, I will still hold on to faith with anything that God, whether the plan didn't go as it went, as there is a saying in Islam, there's a saying in our religion where if God didn't like give you that part, what you ask for, then you should expect something greater that is going to come. Like at this time,
Perfect.
with what there's passed, I believe there's something better, you know. I
Yes.
believe there's something better.
I
Yeah.
also believe so, my brother. I believe there's something better for you to come, as also with your past fight. I believe your story from where you started, everything you went through, to where you are today. I've got um, I'm very excited about your career. You also, you got good mentors. You got a good team behind you. Uh, it can only go upwards from here. And yeah, I'm sure I'm not just the only one. A lot of the fans and South African fans are excited about your boxing. Do you have any fights scheduled for the next coming couple of months or anything? Have you heard anything?
You know, I don't know if I should say this on camera, but we placed we want a rematch as
Okay, for
my
the SA title.
yeah, we want a
Okay.
rematch because we believe that we won. You know,
Well,
even
yes.
my coach was when the fight ended because everyone was convinced that I won the fight. You know,
Yes.
and then when the result came, I was when they said the result, like I was like, okay, it is how it is. Let me just congrats. My coach was crosser than what I was. I had to coach.
Yes.
No, don't worry. God got a plan. You know, we must just look forward. So if that doesn't if that doesn't come, or if it comes, then I will have a rematch. If it doesn't come, you
You
know,
have.
I will look on to press to the better of the future because I know there's loads of opportunities out there. There's loads to
That's
where I
that's
am.
that's a very nice characteristic to have. When you, as you said, you waited to hear the results, and you heard it didn't go your way, but you still kept your head up. You still kept a smile on your face. You still kept that belief, because in this game, not in this sport of boxing, it takes a true champion to lose, to get up, and to keep going, and to never give up. Some fighters can go 10, 15 fights without losing. They lose a fight, and
Hmm.
it destroys them. They cannot build themselves back from that. And it can be close fights. It could be um, knockout fights. They could
Knockout, yeah.
meet their opponents. Some people cannot come back from that. I know a few people that didn't come back from losses, but for me, a true character, for a true champion, is those that can come back from a loss and become greater champions than what they thought of me. And I believe that's the path you're on, my brother. Um, uh, Before we close, brother, you're a big inspiration to young kids, especially from where you come from, to the path you're going. Do you have any advice for young kids watching you out there, for any fans watching you out there who are going through hard times in life, or who feel like they want to give up? I'm sure you felt like you wanted to give up many times, but you pushed through that. Do you have any words of wisdom or courage for the fans out there and for the young kids watching you?
You know what I can say? Love in your dreams. and don't be deceived by your nightmares. Whereas I'm saying that whatever you want to accomplish in life, it's in your dreams as a part of the reality. Whereas if you're going to be deceived by your nightmares, is by the influence of bad things, bad friends, bad surroundings, keep believing even if things are not going well at home, you be the one in the light to make a change. Don't let anyone bring you down. Today we feel sad. Tomorrow there's a brighter day that is going to be there for us, and then we're gonna forget about it. But this is life. We're gonna lose a lot. We're gonna gain a lot. You
Yes,
know, and throughout life also, when we talk about, when you said, when people didn't come back about when they lost their first loss, where they
yes,
met their opponent. I believe we all been through life. We all have a story. We all have something that we came from, and people that are going through that, we still go through this day. As long as we love, we're gonna get tests and trials. Just keep having faith. That's the main thing. And keep doing what you're doing. No matter you don't see the results, keep doing. It's going to pay off. It will pay off eventually.
amazing, brother. Thank you for those words. I'm sure it will touch a lot of people, and I'm sure even through the show tonight, you've gained yourself some new fans. Do you have any? Where can the fans get hold of you? On your Facebook pages, anything you want to say to people?
You
Where we can
can,
get hold of you, or
people
where
can
we
follow
can
me.
get? Yeah, yeah.
People can follow me on Instagram, Abdulaziz, or search up the Arabian Night, Abdulaziz Arabian Night 94. On Facebook, it's Abdulaziz Kunert. Yeah, you can get hold of me there, follow my story, where I'm going. So, there's so much young guys out there that follows me, and even them, I follow them and support them because, they're the future. They're the future.
Nice, brother. Nice. But champ, thank you so much for sitting down. I'm sure a lot of fans and new faces listened to your story tonight. Got to hear from you, and you've got yourself some new fans. Thank you for taking this time out, coming onto my show, speaking to us, and getting to know you more. Uh, I'm a fan. I'll always be a fan since I heard about you. I always watch you guys and everything, so I'll always be watching. But
Don't
yeah,
talk
man.
like that. You also a boxer. I remember the
Yes, I
fight
know,
between you and
man.
Lunga. Between you and Lunga, the second one. Yo, I
Yes,
was
yes,
like,
yes,
yo,
yes.
these guys can fight, yo. Hey, they want you. We learn every day, but I really appreciate it in giving me this platform for freedom of speech, so people can acknowledge me out there,
No,
and
not a
know
problem,
who's
brother.
Abdulaziz, and they must know David Rajuili also.
Thank you very much, brother. But yeah, man. Once again, I just want to say thank you for being on the talk show and sharing your story. We're looking forward to seeing your fights. I will always be checking. I'll see you guys in December. Hopefully, we can do some sparring and stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah, thank you for being on the show today once again, brother. Any
thank
last
you.
words for the viewers and the people at home?
Yeah, I just want to send my love out to my parents, family, friends, those who support me, and everyone out there. And thank you too for the platform, my brother. I really appreciate it. And still, I support you from my side. I know
Thank you,
whatever
brother.
happened in your fight, in your last fight, you still got my support. We just keep going on and striving for greatness.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Sam.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And next week we've got a very, very big guest. We've got the IBO seven-time cruiserweight champion Kevin Lorena will be live with us in studio next week. On Ringside Talk Show, we'll be talking to the current IBO World Champion Kevin Lorena as he tells us about his move up to heavyweight division. Thank you for your time, guys. Hope you enjoyed that show. Thank you very much, my brother. I will see you soon, and thank you. See
You
you guys
too.
soon.